Hi everyone. I don't normally come on a Friday, but I happen to have a few minutes, so I thought I would. Thank you for being here on my channel, my YouTube channel, and if you're listening to this on Facebook or elsewhere, thank you for subscribing and liking. That will really help the channel to grow and to reach more people. So what I really wanted to talk to you about today was about our soul's plan. So I was getting some intuition from my guides who I, trust implicitly and have worked with for over 25 years, knowingly. Of course, they've been with me my whole life, but knowingly the last 25 years, nearly 30 years. And I wanted to talk about soul plan. There's a lot of conversation at the moment from the perspective of people's choices, disease, things like that. And I just wanted to clear up a few things. But I also wanted to help from the perspective of understanding that when we have really difficult things that happen to us or relationships, etc., then it's possible that it's something that we've chosen pre-birth. So I just want to talk to you about my understanding of the soul plan and how that perhaps impacts us in today's world and how it impacts us in our life in general. So it's my understanding, and I've worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of spirit entities, but also people in my career. My career as a medium, but also as a trauma specialist. So I'm known as a spiritual scientist, and I've worked with so many. And what I understand is that, and I'm an astrologer as well. Actually, I need to say that because it's really important to know that astrology is like a snapshot of what you chose to experience. So there is Chiron in our chart, and the Chiron is to do with the wounded part of us. So we will have come in to experience something significant so that we could heal it, so that we could really be of service to humanity in that way. So if you think of yourself as a divine being of light, so without this jacket, without this physical body, and we are this incredible ball of light, let's just call it for now, our soul experience. And so we choose to come in to experience emotion in the physical form. We choose to experience an understanding and a remembering of who we are. And this is just something that we choose so that we can expand and grow and develop. It's all part of a big, I suppose, stage experience when we think of ourselves as Shakespeare says, life is but a stage and we are mere actors upon it. and I always feel we can either be on the stage or we can be observers of it. So that's another way we can look at it. But if you think of it, you come in and you choose your parents. Okay, just take what resonates with you with this, throw away what doesn't resonate and take what resonates, because it's your own knowing, your own truth that might be seeded in this. So we come in and we choose the parents that we want to have. So whether we're adopted, whether we end up not having an experience of parents, we will have chosen the birth parents to come in. And whatever we would have experienced in that will have been for our own soul's growth and our own human emotional experience. We also have chosen our friends. We've chosen our relationships. Some of you are going right now, why would I have chosen that partner? Why would I have chosen that mother? Why would I have chosen that brother, sister, whatever, or friend? We've also chosen many, many experiences that have been adverse, we might say. So maybe accidents, maybe accidents are never accidents, right? So maybe accidents, maybe coming in without one of our senses. So we may be coming as deaf, we may be coming as blind, we may be coming where we are mentally unwell or something like that. We've also experienced disease. So we choose to come in to experience disease. And we can heal from that disease because we are creator beings. But we forget that we are this incredible being of light and we can heal ourselves, right? And we chose to remember that. So maybe through having a dis-ease, whatever it might be, then we can remember more and more about who we are, and we can remember that we can heal ourselves. You know, I work with people all the time, not every day, but most weeks, that are experience a physical message in their body and a dis-ease, and they are able to find ways to access what that means to them, but also how they can heal themselves. So at the moment, you know, there's many people choosing an option, perhaps something they're told or they heard on the news or something like that. And that is part of a soul's plan. You know, so we cannot judge someone's experience, because if we're judging someone's experience, we're actually judging our own. And that's something that, you know, over my life has been tricky for me, because obviously as a trauma specialist, I help people release their trauma, childhood trauma, you know, birth trauma, PTSD, war veteran trauma, all sorts of stuff, and sexual abuse, you know, everything, you name it, and definitely disease. But is it possible that some of those souls have actually decided to come into contact with me or another channel of healing so that they could remember who they are? So they come in and experience what they need to experience. So some people are experiencing adverse effects from the injection, yeah, that's going around at the moment, and some people are not. So why is it that some people are and some people are not? And so what my guide said to me was that this is all part of the soul's choice. So that doesn't mean that we can't help people, and I definitely do help people that have got you know, physical symptoms in their body and adverse effects from injection. I'm helping a lot of people at the moment. But is it possible that, you know, the ones that don't get the help needed to experience that to perhaps remember who they are? It's possible. Is it possible that lots of people will pass over at this time? And maybe it's not. Maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe it's depopulation. But is it possible that it's also part of our soul's experience that we needed to come in for this amount of time? And that vibrationally and energetically, you know, we chose these experiences, and maybe it's time for those souls that are passing over now that was their journey, that was their experience. So I know there's lots of rhetorical questions here of like, is it possible? And what do you think about it? But actually, who knows? I think the only person that knows is the true soul within, not person, but the soul knows within. You know, I know that it's my soul's mission to help you on your mission. So if you're listening to this and you found me and it's abstract and you've never seen me before, then maybe it's because I popped up, because it was the time for you to hear this, right? And if you do know me, then you know that my work has been for many years to help people step out of the closet in the sense of their spiritual journey and understand who they are and how they're meant to be of service to humanity. And so if you think about that for a moment, think about what's happened in your life experience so far. You know, relationships, the birth that you had, you know, maybe dis-ease, maybe accidents, maybe living in a different country, traveling to another country, you know, all of this kind of stuff. Have a think about it and have a look back and say, that was, if you feel something was awful or really difficult, how pivotal was that in the moving forward and understanding who you are? So my spiritual awakening, well, one of my first spiritual awakenings was at 20, around about 26, 27, my Saturn return. And it was where, so this is actually, you can hear this on episode 1 of my podcast, The Spiritual Awakener. And it's also in my book, up and coming book, coming out next year, called Awaken the Light Within Your Heart. So essentially, when I was around that age, I was working in child protection, and I was working as a trauma specialist. And I was also doing my postgraduate degree and in psychotherapy at the same time. And Martin, who actually I named my son after, but Martin was a very good friend of mine and been a previous boyfriend, and he actually took his life. And his girlfriend let me know, and so on. And it was really traumatic to hear this news. He was across the other side of the world because he was from New Zealand, and he took his life. And a couple of months after that, he actually visited me. And I'd never had any experiences like that before. It was absolutely terrifying to be woken up in the night by the feeling that someone was in the room with you. And at that time, I lived in a flat in London by myself. So it was pretty scary. And I felt like someone was, kind of touching my shoulder and so on. And I literally, up until that point, never, ever experienced anything like that. Kind of knew there was something else, but I wasn't really, I was more of a scientist and a psychologist. So I wasn't really looking at the spiritual aspect. And I kind of had this sense that I couldn't move, but I knew that someone was in the room. At that point, I didn't know it was him. So a couple of months later, after not being able to sleep for night after night after night, and thinking, "Oh my God, I don't want that to happen again," I started to experience out of body, so I could see myself in bed. So I started to realise that I was. Now I look back on it, and I realise that actually I was being shown that I was much more than a physical body and a brain. Yeah, and so I question that as well a lot. And this is who I am. I question everything and I research everything. And then someone got me a reading, and I never had one before. Someone got me a reading because they were fed up with me saying, "Oh, this happened to me. I don't know what it was," And I kept going over and over. So a friend of mine got me a reading, and this lady said to me, "Oh my goodness," she said, "I have this man here," and they're talking about, well, Martin and I had actually traveled together in New Zealand and shown me a lot of the world. And so not everyone knew the details of what we'd done and what we'd seen, and especially not the private beach we'd been on, that his parents owned, and all sorts of things like that I didn't talk about. And so she was telling me all this information. And she was telling me about a particular night where we opened up the skylight and saw the stars and all that kind of stuff, which no one really knew. And she certainly never met me before. And then she said, at the end of this, after I was in floods of tears, she said, "Oh," and she looked at my hands and she said, "And this is your path." And I said, "You must be joking. I'm definitely not going to be a medium, and a channel." She said, "Well, wait and see." So, of course, I knew then that it was him because she explained that he'd come to let me know that he was fine and that, there was nothing to fear, and that he was really sorry and so on. And then a few months went by, and it really struck me. And I kept seeing synchronicities of magazines opening with meditation on them, transcendental meditation. And now I know that those are messages from the universe to help me understand, that I needed to do that, needs to quiet my mind. And that was another spiritual awakening where, I actually learned transcendental meditation, which led me then to understand that, we were so much more. And then that was my journey of becoming a medium that I resisted as well for a long time. But I eventually trained at the College of Psychic Studies many years ago. And so all of these things, especially Martin taking his life, which was a really significant, dramatic, awful thing to experience. A dear friend, previous boyfriend to take their life was really difficult. I later had a couple of other boyfriends. One that actually had liver failure and died. And another one I heard about wasn't a boyfriend, but a friend that had taken drugs in a club and died. So I had quite a lot of, loss and things like that. But then I realised now when I look back on it, actually all those experiences, significant experiences, led me to actually understand so much more about who I was, and to know that death is not, there is no death. that it's just a transition, that we go through another doorway. And then later on, I have children 14 and 12 now, and I was in a relationship with the father of my children, and it was a really, really difficult relationship. It wasn't always difficult, and it was a very fast whirlwind relationship, which I know now is karmic, but it was a blessing to have the children. But it was really difficult to be with him, and it was a really emotionally draining relationship, and I felt very unsupported. So because of that, it led me to actually understand that I had the power and the power within me to actually create my own reality. And so when I became a single parent and the babies were 11 months old and 2, I was completely on my own with that. And not much money or anything like that. It was a really difficult time. So that was a significant experience, which I actually write about in my book as well, is to actually realize that if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. And now I have a successful business, and I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And so I wouldn't do anything else. It's my mission 100%. But I always thought that I would be successful on the back of him. And actually, I have created my own mission through my own knowing and through my own understanding, and through being a single parent and caring for my children and bringing them up myself. And I know how home educate them now as well. So it's an interesting balance and life. But I'm really glad that I had that experience, and I'm really glad that the relationship did not work out, because I feel that was also a soul choice. It was also a soul choice for me to experience a really difficult time, and it was not easy, but it grew the strength within me to know that I can literally overcome anything. And that's what I do. And I help people overcome difficult situations in their life, emotional, traumatic, physical, whatever it might be. So it makes sense, doesn't it, when you look back over your life, which I'm sure you will do after listening to this, and look at all those really difficult things that happened, like the difficult relationship you might have been in, maybe being lost in a country somewhere, maybe having a physical illness that was really difficult for you. Maybe you're going through it now. I just want to let you know that actually, when you come through this, you're going to be so much more empowered and so much stronger. So much stronger. And there was this old kind of saying here in the UK that you never get given anything you can't handle. And I definitely feel that is true, that you really don't get given anything, but you actually haven't chosen anything you can't handle. So if we turned it around, we'd say, well, oh my goodness, why would I choose that? Why would I choose that? And when I used to work in child protection, which was, a long, long time ago, but I worked in child protection for a good 13, 14 years in local authority London. And it was, kind of Victoria Columbier time, when the child was privately fostered. And I used to do assessment for privately fostered children later on. And so thinking about those children that were, I suppose you might see them as slipped through the net, and not protected. Actually, soul's choice. Maybe I'm not saying that we shouldn't protect children and we shouldn't have, a direction for that. But maybe Victoria Columbier actually had to experience that. She chose to experience that so that the law got changed, and actually private fostering came in as a law. So that's why I had a job assessing children that had been trafficked or brought over from many countries. So, it was the time when children were brought over in lorries, under lorries and things like that. So I'd have to go and assess those children and where they were living, where they were being brought in, and why. So if we didn't have that service, then many, many more children would have been Victoria Columbier. Yeah. So it's not to say that we don't help people that are sick. It's not to say that we don't help people that are having a really difficult time. It just means that part of these experiences are the soul's plan and the soul's journey. And they're not something that we just necessarily have to say, that's a really bad thing, poor person. Actually, maybe that was part of what they needed to experience. And that, what the guides are saying here, I have a trio that works with me, Jeshua, Mother Mary, and Ashtar, as well as many other beings, but these seem to be my three main at this point in time. My vibrational match is that. But what I'm kind of hearing them saying is that it's never our responsibility to heal anyone else, right? It's only ever an adult's responsibility to take responsibility for their own life. We can guide people and we can support people. But when we start to think that we can do it for someone else, or we have to protect, I'm talking about adults here, not children and animals, that's very different. But adults, when we think, oh my goodness, I have to sacrifice myself for that person, I have to do this, it's never our job to do that. So if you think about where you are now in your life, and let's just come into our heart. I feel like we need to come into our heart. So let's just come into our heart space. Just take a deep breath. And let's just send gratitude out to everyone that has seemingly hurt us in our life. Is it possible for you to do that? Let's just bring a beautiful ball of light into our heart. That's good. And then just send it out, and just imagine you're sending it out to all of those souls that have come into your experience in this lifetime that you feel have caused you harm or hurt, to send that gratitude out to them now. Okay? And then I want you to receive that gratitude back to you. And just feel that flooding the whole of your body, your field. Some of you may feel tingling, you may not. Doesn't matter. And then I want you to send that ball of gratitude, this is what the guides are saying, up to the universe, to all of those beings that support you, that you chose to journey with you in this life. I'm certainly sending it to mine. Mine are amazing. Okay. And just send that asking out. So like, I'm asking for you to support me now on my journey. Ask and it is given. Send that message out to your guides, that gratitude. Thank you so much for supporting me. I'm now ready to receive your help. Okay. And then I want you to connect with Mother Earth, with Gaia, and just send that gratitude down to Mother Earth. Take a deep breath. And maybe you want to imagine that your roots are going into the ground and you're being grounded and supported. And then I want you to come back to your heart. And let's just invite our guides in and our angels. And just see what you feel when you invite them in. And just ask the question, maybe, what do I need to know? So what do I need to know? Maybe close your eyes and then just listen. Okay. And know that you can come back to do that at any time. You can always talk to your guides. They're always around you and your loved ones. And if you pop over to my website, susankennard.co.uk, there's a free video course, and you can click on that, and there are 3 videos that you get. You can open up. One is the Earth Star, Soul Star, so connecting with Earth, connecting with the high consciousness, and connecting with your guides is another one. And the third one is connecting with your body. So listening to the messages in your body. So if you feel that that might be helpful for you, then go ahead and pop over to my website, susankennard.co.uk or co.uk, and you can receive that for free. And obviously look at my YouTube channel. I've got many videos like this on it. And if you want to like and subscribe, then you know that you'll always see a live whenever I come on. So I hope you enjoyed this video about our soul's choice. I hope you feel a little bit more comfortable with some of the things that have happened in your life now, that you can see them as blessings and you can see those people as blessings. And I know that might take a bit of time, but to see those people as blessings is seeing yourself as a blessing. And the gratitude you give to them, you're actually giving back to you. And with that gratitude, you are healing not only you, but you're healing the planet as well. So much love. See you very soon. And I hope you enjoy.